It was pouring rain the night a tired janitor chose kindness over shelter. He didn't know the woman shivering beside the broken-down car was a Navy Admiral, or that helping her would cost him the last thing he had left. But 3 weeks later, when a knock echoed through his tiny apartment at dawn, the truth behind that stormy night came back, and nothing in his life would ever be the same again. Some moments feel small when they happen, just a choice made in the rain. But sometimes, those moments decide the rest of your life. The rain had no mercy that night. It slammed against the cracked sidewalks, soaked through worn shoes, and turned the city into a blur of shadows and flickering streetlights. Daniel Reyes pulled his janitor's jacket tighter around himself as he locked the side door of the office building downtown. His shift had ended late, again. It always did. Being the night janitor didn't leave room for complaints, especially not when you were a single father trying to stretch a paycheck across rent, food, and school supplies. Daniel's phone buzzed with a message from his neighbor. "Lily asleep. She asked if you'll read to her tomorrow." He smiled softly despite the exhaustion weighing down his bones. Lily was 6, too young to understand why her dad always came home smelling like cleaning chemicals, too innocent to see how close they lived to the edge. She only knew he never missed reading her favorite book, even if his eyes struggled to stay open. As Daniel stepped into the rain, he noticed a car stalled on the roadside, hazard lights blinking weakly. A woman stood beside it, rain plastering her hair to her face, frustration and worry written clearly in her posture. Daniel hesitated. His bus pass was soaked, his shoes were ruined, and every instinct told him to get home fast. Lily would wake up early. He still had to cook dinner for tomorrow. Then the woman slipped. She didn't fall hard, but the sound of it, sharp and helpless, cut through the rain. Daniel was already moving before he realized it. He crossed the street, ignoring the water pooling around his feet. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he asked. She looked up, rain streaking down her face, but her eyes were steady. Strong. "I'm fine," she said, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "Car won't start. Phone's dead." Daniel took off his jacket and held it over her shoulders without thinking. It was thin, barely enough to help, but she clutched it like it mattered. He tried the car. Dead battery. No surprise in weather like this. "My name's Daniel," he said. "There's a diner a few blocks away. Warm, dry. I can call someone for you." She hesitated, scanning the empty street. "I'm Evelyn," she said finally. "Thank you." They walked through the rain together. At the diner, Daniel spent the last of his cash on hot coffee and soup. He told himself it was worth it. Some nights, doing the right thing was the only thing that kept him standing. Evelyn listened as he talked about Lily, about juggling work and parenting alone after his wife passed away 3 years earlier. He didn't mention the bills stacked on his kitchen table, or the eviction notice folded into his jacket pocket. He didn't want pity. Evelyn didn't offer any either, only quiet respect. A tow truck eventually arrived. Before leaving, she pressed something into his hand. A card. "If you ever need help," she said, "call me." Daniel nodded, unsure if he ever would. People said things like that all the time. Life taught him not to expect miracles. He went home soaked, tired, and poorer than before, but Lily hugged him the next morning like he was the richest man in the world. 3 weeks passed. Then came the knock. Daniel opened the door expecting bad news, but instead the past stood there, ready to rewrite his future. The knock came just after sunrise, firm, official, unmistakable. Daniel froze. His first thought was the landlord. His second was panic. Lily peeked from behind the couch, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "I'll get it," he said softly. When he opened the door, 2 uniformed officers stood at attention. Between them was Evelyn, no longer drenched and stranded, but composed, confident, powerful. "Mr. Reyes," one officer said. "May we come in?" Daniel's heart pounded as they stepped inside his modest apartment. Evelyn looked around quietly, the worn furniture, the school drawings taped to the fridge, the unmistakable signs of a man doing his best with very little. She turned to him and spoke clearly. Daniel, I owe you more than you know. She introduced herself properly then. Rear Admiral Evelyn Carter, United States Navy. Daniel's breath caught. The woman he helped in the rain, the one he bought soup for with his last dollars, was one of the highest-ranking officers in the Navy. Evelyn explained that night had been a test of character she would never forget. Not because she was important, but because Daniel didn't know she was. He helped anyway. She had looked him up. Learned about his record. His clean employment history. His reputation for honesty. She knew about Lily. About the eviction notice. I can't erase your struggles, she said gently. But I can open doors. Through a Navy-sponsored civilian program, Daniel was offered training for facilities management, better hours, triple the pay, benefits, stability, and childcare assistance. Daniel didn't speak. Tears filled his eyes as Lily stepped forward and hugged Evelyn's leg. Thank you for helping my daddy, Lily said. Evelyn knelt down, her voice breaking. No, she whispered. Your daddy helped me. Months later, Daniel wore a clean uniform, not as a janitor, but as a supervisor. He came home before sunset. He read to Lily every night without fighting sleep. The eviction notice was gone. So was the fear. But what stayed with him most wasn't the job or the money. It was the lesson. That kindness given in the dark, when no one is watching, can echo louder than anything done in the light. And sometimes, the knock you fear most is the one that saves you. Life doesn't always reward us immediately for doing the right thing. But every act of kindness plants a seed, and one day, when you least expect it, it may knock on your door and change everything.